Good morning. I'm Ron Brown. I will be your host today. This is December the 12th. It is episode 141. If you are listening for today on live on YouTube, thank you for coming. If you're here in the audience, thank you again. We really do appreciate your enthusiasm and support. If you're watching this as a YouTube short, you can just click the link and that will take you right to the show. Our show today will be about an hour, followed by a Q&A and our premiere version, our premiere video. Today on the show, we'll start with myself. I'm going to be doing an introduction to our staff here in a minute, and then we will be starting with Bob's security news update. And then we will he'll be talking about order scams that are increasing, a good topic around Christmas. We then will have Ray is going to be talking on is it safe to buy on eBay? A good topic as we come into Christmas. I'll be talking about protecting your data when you take your computer in for repair. Huey's going to talk on continuous scrolling in Google. And then Ray has, of course, his music outro. Then we'll have our Q&A, and followed by that, we have our premiere event today, which again is free. You're welcome to watch the show. Those of you who have get our Saturday newsletter will have seen the link to the premiere version. Today is very interesting. I think that Dewey talked about Night and Winstall about a year ago, and these are packet you want to install your disks, you don't know where to do it, and you don't know your program is back on your machine, on your PC. These are packet managers that actually have the software and will install them for you. So it's interesting, and Night's been around for a very long time. So you might want to have a look at it. It's very interesting. We also have Huey. I think the best one you did so far of websites of the week was the one that you did on it was on the Google Arts and Culture. Remember that? That was just that was an amazing one you did. I had no idea that was available. You were going to repeat that, and I'll be talking on shopping with Miss A, which of course is something that Christmas is coming, so it's sort of a shopping theme today, and that will all be on the premiere video coming up at about 1:30. Now, for those of you who are also following us on our Thursday show, don't forget this Thursday will be Tech for Senior Live, where we'll be looking at all the news of the week. But it is not a Zoom meeting. We always have people logging in to this Zoom account. So if you come in on this Zoom meeting on Thursday, you won't find us because we broadcast in a different way. It's called StreamYard. And the link to that, you can go to our website, www.techforsenior.com, and you'll find the link. I've got a button there. Just click the button, and it will take you either to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and there's where you can follow us along on our Thursday show. So anyway, let's without further ado, let me introduce everybody today. We have a big show for you, so I'm not going to talk too long. Huey had a good WinSig.
We had a great WinSig, yep. A lot of good discussions and a lot of good memories. We talked about old BBSs and how you can actually use BBSs today.
Excellent. And Bob, sing us a note there. Is your voice getting better?
Gradually improving, yes.
You sound like your old self.
No, not quite.
Have you reached I told you 6 weeks. You're almost at 6 weeks now. I bet you it'll be right to the day. There you go. Are you getting your water wings on for your sailing adventure in January?
Hopefully by then things will be back to normal.
Okay. All right. And Ray, I thought you'd be out shoveling snow.
Well, the good news is that we only had about 4 inches overnight. Overnight, it gets down into the 20s, so we had some snow. But now it's 37, and my plan is it'd be melted by tonight.
There you go. There you go. And Mike, what you've got snow in the background. You don't have any snow. You're just giving us a hard time with that. You're in Florida. You don't get snow in Florida.
Yeah, once a year I go to the Jib Jab and create a nice little animated greeting card. So I thought it would be fun to have a snowball fight.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we'll have that'll be a good one. I don't think Bill James isn't here, is he? Is Bill?
Oh.
Bill's not around. All right. All right. Now I wanted just to of course, those of you who have that see our Saturday newsletter will have seen my YouTube channel of the week, which I put in our Saturday newsletter. And this is, and of course, it's behind me. As you look behind, it was called Just a Few Acres Farm. And this is a really great channel. I watch, he pretty much does videos every 2 or 3 days, and it's all about farm life. And when you want to get away from the news and all the horrible things that are happening around the world, and you just want to enjoy someone farming and having a good time. I've never been on a farm. You know, anything I have always bought has always come from the grocery store. I thought chickens were made in a grocery store, but they're not. They're actually made on a farm. And this is a great couple, and they are very entertaining and great video editors. So their videos are very well done. And it's called Just a Few Acres Farm. They're farming in New York, and he actually used to be an architect who still kept the family farm. He gave up his successful architect business, and he just lives on the farm with his wife, and they do farming. So it's very interesting if you want to have a good time and you want to watch just some great, non-stressful, nice people doing nice things, talking to chickens and stuff like that. Listen to that. It's a great site.
Ron, I had several comments about my article that was in the newsletter too. So I urge everyone to read the newsletter if you haven't, every Saturday and every Tuesday, because there's some great articles in there.
Absolutely, for sure. The other thing that I wanted to, I'm just going to share my screen for a minute here. Talk about, this is, we talked about this a bit on Thursday. This is Google has gave out their big awards this last couple of weeks ago, and the top app for Android was given out for artificial intelligence as far as drawing in images and artwork. And the app was called Dream by Wombo. And if you go to the website, it's called ℏ.ai, and you can search that on your PC and you'll see it. It's available. And but it is an app on your Android phone, and it creates pictures and it's free, and it creates pictures, and it's really cool. And I don't draw very well. In fact, I've never drawn anything in my life, but this creates some stunning images. The other one that is getting a lot of press right now is one called this is called, just a minute here. It's not that. What the heck is this called?
The one you're on is Prisma.
Yeah, but that's not the name of it. What the heck is it named?
Probably the one I just did a video on that says don't use it.
No, this this is no, what the heck? Yeah, Prisma. This is I'll put the link in. This is
Lenza.
Prisma.ai. Prisma-AI. I'm going to put the links in tomorrow's newsletter. Now, the interesting thing, again, this is another one that is very popular right now, and they're talking a lot about. Now, the interesting thing about it is that there's enormous controversy over these programs right now. There's this, Leo Laporte talked about it on a show yesterday, and on our national news last night, the CBC National News, they talked about the problems associated with AI drawn art. And it's very interesting that right now what's going to happen. I think it's a story we're going to follow a lot in this coming year. But if you want to have some fun, I'll put the links for these in the chat, and you can certainly have some fun drawing. Bob, are you ready to roll?
And as soon as you
I'm finished. I'm finished. Go for it.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending December 9th, 2022. TikTok Invisible Challenge Unfilter steals credit cards and other info. Attackers are taking advantage of a popular TikTok challenge in order to lure their victims into installing malware that steals credit card details and other personal information. The Invisible Challenge sees people using a filter to make their body appear see-through, leaving just the silhouette visible. Some people are using the filter and then taking their clothes off on screen. They're naked, but the user doesn't see that because they are invisible. Naturally, that's left some people wondering if they can remove the filter after posting in order to see the person naked. Ever since the discovery, several elements of the attack have been reported and removed, but it doesn't seem like the attackers are ready to give up on this profitable project. So whatever you do, don't follow up on the claims that the invisible filter can be removed. Better yet, stay away from TikTok altogether, as I've mentioned more than once. Read more at Malwarebytes. The FTC is investigating crypto firms for possible misconduct following FTC collapse. The agency did not identify any of the firms currently under investigation or any additional details related to the probes. While we can't comment on current events in the crypto markets or the details of any ongoing investigations, we are investigating several firms for possible misconduct concerning digital assets, an FTC spokesperson said in a statement to The Verge Tuesday. We cannot comment on the nature of the investigations. On top of several civil suits, the FTC is just the latest U.S. agency to probe the crypto industry following the sudden implosion of popular trading exchange FTX last month. The Justice Department, Securities and Exchange Commission, the Commodities Future Trading Commission, and 2 state attorneys general have all reportedly launched investigations into FTX and its executives over the last few weeks. Read more at The Verge. Android app with over 5 million downloads leaked user browsing history. The Android app Web Explorer Fast Internet left an open instance, exposing a trove of sensitive data that malicious actors could use to check specific users' browsing history. The browsing app for Android devices, Web Explorer Fast Internet, left open its Firebase instance, exposing app and user data, the Cyber News research team has discovered. Firebase is a mobile application development platform that offers many features, including analytics, hosting, and real-time cloud storage. Web Explorer Fast Internet is a browsing app with over 5 million downloads on the Google Play Store. It boasts of increasing browsing speeds by 30% and has a user rating average of 4.4 out of 5 stars across more than 58,000 reviews. Read more at Cyber News. Apple upsets FBI with its end-to-end encryption move. Apple plans to let users encrypt additional data categories, including backups and photos. Until now, iCloud has protected 14 data categories using end-to-end encryption, including passwords and health data. Users who opt in to the advanced data protection feature will be able to encrypt 7 additional categories, including backup, notes, and photos. The only major category not included is mail, contacts, and calendar because of the need to interoperate with the global email, contacts, and calendar systems. Advanced data protection is Apple's highest level of cloud data security. giving users a choice to protect the vast majority of their most sensitive iCloud data with end-to-end encryption so that it can only be decrypted on their trusted devices, said Ian Christic, Apple's head of security engineering and architecture. Read more at Cyber News. A hack-for-hire group targets travel and financial entities with new ℍ𝕠𝕟 malware variant. Travel agencies have emerged as the target of a hack-for-hire group dubbed Evil Num as part of a broader campaign aimed at legal and financial investment institutions in the Middle East and Europe. The attacks targeting law firms throughout 2020 and 2021 involved a revamped variant of a malware called ℍ𝕠𝕟 that leverages several public services like YouTube as dead drop resolvers, Kaspersky said in a technical report published this week. Read more at the Hacker News. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. Avast article this week deals with 9 online scams to watch out for this holiday season. Read the article by following the link listed or watch my video on this topic by following the YouTube link. Did you know, starting this week in the US, customers who say, "Miss A, thank my driver," will trigger a tip toward the last worker who delivered a package to that customer. The $5 comes at no cost to the customer, and Amazon said in a blog post that it will run the promotion for the first 1 million thank yous received. I've been busy tipping my drivers thanks to Amazon. Hippopotamonstros polyphobia is the fear of long words. Bet you can't say that 3 times. That wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Give me a chance to change over to the next item. Some sensible advice from Avast just in time for the holiday season. Fake order scams are increasing for the holiday season. As the holiday season gets underway, we're seeing an increase in fake order scams. These are sent via fake email detailing an order update or subscription details, and usually appear to be from a well-known brand. The goal, as always, is your money. And here's what we know. 1. Big brands, Amazon, PayPal, Best Buy, and even Avast are just some of the names being impersonated. They look real. Scammers are innovative. They know how to make these emails look like the real deal. Your money is their goal. They ask you to contact them and demand card details or pressure you to purchase gift vouchers. So, what can you do to protect yourself? Keep these 4 tips in mind over the holiday season to help you think twice about what you find online. Number 1, even if an email appears to be from a big brand, double-check, cross-check the email address with the official support on the company's website. Number 2, be careful as you search for better deals this holiday season. With the cost of everyday items rising, it can be easy to fall for what seems to be like a great deal. Number 3, never send money, credit card details, or copies of your personal documents to anyone. Legitimate companies will not ask for these in that way. Number 4, keep your antivirus software updated and running. Scams like these prey on human weakness, so we need to work together. Here are just 2 fake order scam examples, and as we said, they look real. Hopefully this information has been useful. Scammers love the holidays just as much as the rest of us. Online shopping increases, and people are usually on the lookout for great deals on products and services. Always be vigilant. If something seems too good to be true, or you didn't order it, then it probably is a scam. From all of us here at Avast, stay safe, both online and off, and have a very happy holiday.
Thanks, Bob. That's
Show me the front door.
good advice coming into the holiday season. Ray, just before you get going, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Paul Lippold, who very generously this week contributed to our coffee fund. Thanks, Paul, for your support, and we do appreciate that. It helps pay the bills. So thanks a lot, Paul. Go ahead, Ray. Take us into eBay and is it safe? I want to buy something on Christmas. Is it safe?
All right, buying on eBay, is it safe? Well, what is eBay, first of all? There may be somebody out there who hasn't used it yet. It's a global online auction company. It facilitates either business to consumer or consumer to consumer sales on its website. The products offered can be brand new or used. After Amazon, eBay is the largest e-commerce platform in the world, available in over 180 countries. It's a top destination for selling new and pre-owned electronics, cars, clothes, and collectibles, just to name some of what is offered. And as of the fourth quarter in 2018, eBay lists more than 179 million active buyers. Now, I'm going to just talk a little bit about bidding. And actually, I was familiar with how bidding worked before eBay in the case of selling rare 45 RPM records. And this is the process that it used to take. A seller would write or type out a list of records, including gradings as to the quality, make copies of that list, and then mail it to the known potential buyers that he might have on his buyer's list with a bid date deadline. Mailing, snail mail. Then the buyer writes back with snail mail with a bid amount. And then the seller determines the winner by the highest bid amount and requests payment. The buyer would send the seller a check that had to be deposited and wait until it was cleared, and then the seller sends the record to the buyer. If there were no issues, this process could take 2 or more months. Now, how bidding works today with eBay, and I'm sure, and this is for all kinds of products. The seller posts on eBay photos of the 45 RPM record with a written description as to the quality of the playing surface and label, a starting bid amount, and an expiration date, typically a week's time. Bidders enter the highest amount they're willing to pay, and the highest bid amount wins when the bidding time period ends. The seller gets paid quickly, often immediately, via PayPal or another secure method, and when that is confirmed, the seller packs and ships the record to the buyer. The entire process can be completed in about 10 days' time versus a couple of months in the other direction. So the question is, buying on eBay, is it safe to do? I used to be asked this question often when I was teaching beginners computer classes at the college. Is buying from strangers on eBay safe? In other words, will I get the product that is being offered? Well, I've been buying on eBay for well over a dozen years and have never lost money or been disappointed with my purchase. Many items being offered for sale come from business type entities, but a large percentage include individuals like you and me. So here are the things you need to keep in mind. When you find what you want to buy or bid on, you should, number one, check the seller's recent feedback ratings from past sales. I'll only consider bidding when the 4 criteria rating for item as described, communication, shipping time, and shipping and handling charges are above 90%, maybe even a little bit higher than that. Number 2, read the complete item description. Sometimes the item picture is a stock photo, so the seller in the description details will specify if something is missing. Example, the charger cord, or slight damage, maybe scuff marks that would not show up in the stock picture. And 3, when you find what you want to buy or bid on, remember that if a problem occurs, the buyer has eBay's buyer protection plan to fall back on. This is a free program that basically says if an issue arises, eBay will step in to ensure the buyer gets the product they ordered or a refund of the payment made, including any prepaid postage. Now, do I personally trust buying on eBay? How about this? I purchased a 9-year-old Class C motorhome 11 years ago, and I'm still using it after putting over 30,000 vacation and camping miles on the vehicle. eBay Motors is where you'll find new and used vehicles, as well as all types of automotive parts. In addition to cars and trucks, you'll find motorcycles, boats, even electric and hybrid vehicles. So I'm going to tell you about my 2 recent eBay bids and purchases. So I've been a fan of using Windows Hello facial recognition and other biometric technology instead of passwords. Even my 10-year-old Hewlett-Packard Entertainment laptop that contains my entire music collection uses fingerprint ID for sign-on. Now, the main reason for my 2 most recent purchases from eBay was the devices I was interested in had to have the ability to use the Windows Hello facial recognition technology. So the first one was a Microsoft Surface Laptop 3. Now, the Surface Laptop 3 I bid on was released in 2020, so it was 2 years old. It originally came out as a Windows 10 PC and then was upgraded to Windows 11 Pro. Now, the model I purchased continues to be available new on Amazon, and as well as a discounted refurbished model for $389. Amazon also sells the Surface docking station for $137.45. So if I were to buy both the refurbished laptop and the docking station, I'd spend $526.45 on Amazon. But on eBay, the total cost to me for both was $300. My bid won at $285, and then I paid an additional $15 for shipping, and I got both the laptop and a docking station. I also wanted to upgrade the desktop webcam. I wanted to upgrade it to a premium model that would include a better microphone and have better illumination without the need to add more physical lighting to my office. Now, Logitech Pro 4K webcam on Amazon, that's probably their best webcam, sells for $149.99. One of the very few well-known brand name webcams that works with Windows Hello facial recognition. So that would be $149.99 on Amazon. I got it for $122.90. Not as big a saving as before, but every $25, $27 is worth it to me. I got a brand new Logitech Pro 4K webcam, brand new in a sealed package. We were able to open it up, put it on top of my desktop monitor, and that's what I'm using right now. So my final thoughts on using eBay: it is safe to use, especially for the buyer. It is fun and really a bit exciting as the seconds count down to see if you have the winning bid. It can save you money if you do your research and due diligence for the product you are interested in. Thank you for listening, and I'll end it there.
Thanks, Ray. Did you factor in the fact, because you wouldn't have paid tax on that, would you, on eBay?
Most of the time, no. Sometimes where the seller is a business, then they will add it. But typically, if it's individual to individual, I don't recall seeing a tax being added.
So when you bought that brand new camera, right, on the webcam, then
yeah, I just paid only that amount, no tax.
So you have to factor that in as another saving as well, isn't it?
Very good point. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Okay, thanks. That was really informative. Great. Thanks a lot. All right. Let me just, I guess I'm up next. Let me see what I have for you today. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Today, I'd like to talk about an article that was published recently from the University of Guelph, Canada, in Ontario. The article is titled "No Privacy in the Electronics Repair Business." And this is the article, and it's about a 20-page article. This is the original one. And in summary, it says that you are highly likely to have your personal data copied, which includes your photo directory, and twice as likely if you're female when you take your computer in to be repaired. Now, this is the original 20-page article I downloaded. Most of you will have probably seen similar articles. A number of journalists have taken this article and have extrapolated information from it, and a number of articles have been written about this original study that was produced. Today I want to talk about what I'm going to call the risk factor, because out of the summary of this very lengthy document, it became obvious that when people take their computers in to get them repaired, they don't think about what data they have on their computer, which is a big risk factor and may have significant implications on your interest in having your computer repaired versus purchasing a new one. And at the very end, I'm going to talk about one of the smartphone companies which is going to encrypt your data when you take it in for repair. Now, in this project, they sent a lot of computers out for repair. They sent them to big box stores, medium-sized mom and pop organizations, and smaller ones. So there was a cross-section of computer repair services that they analyzed. Now, the article was clear that they thought that most of the computer repair services they used did not have any privacy policies. This is one of the main conclusions that this study came out with, was there should be privacy policies at all computer repair facilities so you can see what it is when you take your computer in. So there's a lot of controversy over that recommendation. And I'm going to link a YouTube video from a computer repair expert, Louis Rossmann, in the link below. And I would encourage you to watch this video. He's a man that has a large repair company and a big following on YouTube. So he's someone that has a lot of people listening to what he says. And he says one thing. He says a creep is a creep. And he said, when you take your computer into a repair shop, it is not possible to observe everybody that is working on your computer. And by nature of computers, particularly PCs and laptops, they need to have access to your files to be able to sort out the problems. And he said, again, a creep is a creep and you can't stop them. So most people, when they look at computer repairs, they have to figure out whether it's worth repairing the old computer or whether they need to buy a new computer. And what you have to do is factor in what we're going to talk about as a risk factor. Now let me give you 3 examples to demonstrate this. Let's take a fictitious couple, Mary and John. They're both 25 years old. They just have graduated and got their first contract as teachers in a community high school. Scenario number 1, John goes down in the morning to the study, pushes the button on his PC to start it up. He smells a burning smell and the computer dies. Not a good way to start out your morning. So now John is faced with a problem. John has to decide whether to repair this machine. It's a 5-year-old computer with Windows 10 on it. He's backed up all his data, so his data is secure, but he has to decide whether to get this thing repaired. In his mind, he thinks, well, maybe it's just the power supply. Maybe there's something simple. But he thinks, well, you know, life being life, it's probably going to cost at least $200 to get it fixed, no matter what. And he was just at Costco the other day, and they had a new PC there for $700. So there's about a $500 difference. What John hasn't done is figured out the risk factor analysis, because he has on his home computer some very intimate videos that he and his wife made 2 or 3 years ago. These are very private, and he certainly would not want them made public. If he takes his computer into the computer repair service, and those got copied and put up on the internet, it could certainly affect both their jobs. Of course, he did nothing wrong, and of course they could sue the computer repair company. But as Louis Rossmann says, once the information is out there on the internet, it's gone. You can't control it. And of course, high school students being what they are, it would certainly be all over and very embarrassing. This would be a very bad situation, and he would have to add that risk factor analysis in there to make that decision. And in that decision-making process, is it worth that $500 for that risk factor? Let's take scenario number 2. John and Mary, same, 25 years old, first contract as a teacher at a high school, and they have a baby. And this is 1 year down the road, and they have a whole bunch of baby pictures, as most parents do. Lots of baby pictures. And in those pictures, they have first diaper change, first bathing, all sorts of cute pictures that, of course, parents love to take of their new baby. All right, let's look at risk factor analysis. Same problem. John goes down, hits the button. He has to make a decision on whether or not to get his computer repaired or to buy a new one. He does not have any pictures or videos like we talked about in scenario 1, but he does have all his baby pictures on the PC. All right, he takes the PC in to get it repaired. The repair service then scans the drive for images of children. They, of course, find a lot of naked images of babies, and they call the police, and the police come in and confiscate the computer. John and Mary are notified that they're now under investigation for child pornography. Not an uncommon situation. You may laugh at this, but this actually happens on a fairly regular basis. Now, of course, they did nothing wrong, but they're under investigation. This could have significant implications on their teaching contracts, and of course the anxiety and worry about this. So that's another risk factor analysis you have to consider before you take that computer in to a service depot. Let's take scenario number 3. Let's say it's still John and Mary. Let's say it's the same as scenario 2, but it's their S22 Samsung phone. Their new phone they just spent $1,500 on. John drops it and it has a cracked screen, and they have to take it in. Now they'll get the screen repaired. Now this is sort of a no-brainer because nobody's going to throw out a brand new $1,500 phone. John takes it in to get repaired, and again the same situation occurs, is that the data on that phone can be accessed, particularly the photos. So you're back to square one in what are you going to do to protect your data. So let's come back to the original research article, No Privacy in the Electronic Repair Industry, which is a recent study just published by the University of Guelph in Ontario, Canada. And in this study, they took a number of computers and they put on their software that was able to detect whether a file had been accessed or copied. They then sent the computers out to a wide variety of computer repair services, big box stores, medium stores, and also mom and pop organizations. And they found across all levels of repair services access to personal files, particularly photos. Also, they were also looking for audio files, MP3, and those were frequently copied as well. The other striking thing is if the person bringing the computer in was female, you were twice as likely to have your photo directory copied. This is very disturbing news, and I think something that you have to add that risk factor analysis into your own device before you take that in for repair. Sending your phone for repair can raise inhibitions, and rightly so. Data thefts are common these days. So Samsung wants you to take a sigh of relief and hence has introduced the repair mode, which will restrict access to your data while the phone takes a trip to the repair shop. Samsung's repair mode, when enabled, will block access to important data like your photos, messages, and more when the phone goes for repair. Service providers will only be able to access the default installed apps to perform the necessary repairs. Before sending the phone for a repair, you can turn on the mode in the battery and device care option under the settings to hide data from others. the phone will reboot to place the mode in action. Once the phone is repaired, you can disable the repair mode by simply rebooting the phone and verify via the fingerprint sensor or the set pattern. The new security feature will reach Galaxy S21 series via a future software update. The Samsung repair mode is only available in South Korea at present, but it should be arriving on the Samsung S21 and S22 models in the new year. So please remember that your personal data is only secure when your device is in your possession. You must add that risk factor analysis into the equation before taking your device in to have it repaired. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Remember that like and subscribe, and until we see you again, have a great day. Okay, thanks. Huey, do you want to get going?
Sure, that's scary. Continuous scrolling in Google search. I'm Huey Poplock. Google search results on your desktop will load in a continuous scroll instead of dividing into pages. It isn't quite an infinite scroll. Instead, Google will load 6 pages of results into a single scroll before offering users a See More button to show more results. Google says the change is rolling out first for English searches in the US. We should see additional markets and languages added over time. The change mirrors the design of most social media feeds, where new content is continuously loaded as you scroll down a page rather than asking users to click or tap for more posts. When getting to the bottom of the first page, your search was looking like this. New content now is continuously loaded as you scroll down a page rather than asking users to click or tap for more posts. Ideally, it will make searching quicker, and it should make it less important for websites to be on the first page of search results. Google previously said that most people who want additional information will typically browse up to 4 pages of search results. When you reach the end of the first page of results, the engine will automatically lazy load another page of content for you to pick through. Let's take a look. This is the new Google search. Let's type in Tech for Senior as our search, and it looks just like it's looked before. As we scroll down, though, you will see we just continue to scroll. The numbers don't show up at the bottom and asking you to go to the next page. You will see a large number of results before you get to what is considered the first look, and then you'll see it'll say more results. As we click on more results, we now will get several more results or another page, and then click it again. So we have now, as you can see, a very long list of results of our search instead of it paging. Can I turn off continuous scrolling? One person points out how continuous scrolling prevents you from going back to the location where you clicked the link, causes the browser's scroll bar to act unpredictably, and more. Another user suggests to disable continuous scrolling, you just have to click the Disable Infinite Scrolling button found in the footer. The only challenge is we'll be seeing the footer to click that link before it disappears in favor of more content. There is no footer, as you can see, and there's no button to click Disable Infinite Scrolling. So what do we do? Well, there is another solution. What does work is to add ampersand start equals 10 to the end of the search URL. Let's take a look at what I mean. You do the search, and then up here in the search bar, right after it asks for the Tech for Senior, take everything else at the end and delete it. And then hit space, ampersand, start equal 10, and press enter. And what you'll see is it starts at page 2 instead of page 1. So you miss the first several results, but if you go down to the bottom, you will now see the old numbering system. You'll see you're on page 2. You can go back to page 1 and see what you've missed. But when you do that, that doesn't work anymore. However, if you go ahead to page 3, you will see that it works from there on. So it is a workaround, but it doesn't work very well. Can I open the results in a new tab? If you're working in between a number of websites, or you are performing lots of research on your web browser, it's easier to open and browse through multiple tabs rather than going back and forth with web pages. By default settings, Google will load a search result link upon the search result page. This indicates that if the user wants to check out other links provided on the search result page, they will need to tap the back arrow or the front arrow in the toolbar consequently. Now, such alterations are hectic, so you might decide to open every link in a new tab by default so you can compare and properly align information. So here's how to first open a new tab once. Instead of pressing the left mouse button, click the right mouse button. When you do, you will get this dialog box. You want to choose Open Link in New Tab. When you do that, you'll open up another tab. Then let's take another one and right mouse click it and open in a new tab. So now we have the results page, and then we have each of the tabs with the links. But you have to do that each time, and a lot of times you'll forget, and when you do that, it overwrites the search page, and then you'll have to hit the backspace, and you may not be where you started out. So let's look at another alternative. Let's change the default setting. With this method, all checked on search results will open in a new tab by default. Now, in order to do that and get to the settings, what you want to do, even if you open to your own Google page, you want to go to google.com. When you do that, at the bottom right, you'll see where it says Settings. You want to click that Settings button and then go to Search Settings. When you do, you will see some settings here, and what you want to do is where results open. That will be by default unchecked. Open each selected result in a new browser window, and what it will do is actually open it as a new tab. So if we click that, don't forget to go down and hit the Save button. If you don't do that, it doesn't save it, and it won't work. So we click the Save button. Your preferences have been saved, and we'll say OK. Now we're back to Google, and we're going to, again, do our search for Tech for Senior. And now when we click the first of the items, I'm going to click with my left mouse button. When I do, it automatically opens up a new link. And I come back to the list, it's still here. If I go to the next one on here, and again, left mouse clicking, will open another tab. So now both those two tabs are open, as well as we still have our search, and it's doing that by default. And now, from now on, it will always open in a new tab. If I want to turn that off, I will go back to settings and then go back to that same place and uncheck that box. You can use the new long scrolling and not lose your place, because when you find something, you can just left click it and it will open in a new tab. This has been Continuous Scrolling in Google Search. I'm Huey Poplock. The only problem is, as I said right in the beginning, it's only available in English in the US. So I had Ron try it in Canada and it didn't work. So the continuous scrolling right now is just available in the US, but should soon be available for those of you in Canada.
Well, what about opening I like that default setting where you change and it'll open it in a new tab. Is that feature?
That should be available, yes.
Okay, good. That's great. I'm going to do that as soon as the show's over. I want to set that up. That's great. Good one, Huey. Thanks a lot. Ray, just before you get going here, I just want to say goodbye to our friends over on YouTube. Thank you for coming. We'll see you in another week. We still have room in our Zoom meeting here for you. If you want to participate in the Q&A, you can pop over and just join our meeting. Thanks for coming. Ray, take it away.
All righty. So today we're going to talk about a vocal touring group called the Doo-Wop Project. So as I mentioned last week, the classic tunes of the Christmas season that many of us play and listen to each year are making a comeback on the charts, thanks to how many times a song is streamed, being part of the formula used now to determine position. In the olden days, that would be the 20th century, starting about the third week of December, not the day after Thanksgiving, we'd pull out the old vinyl Christmas albums, 45s too, and play the songs we purchased many years earlier. A nostalgia time when we were all record collectors. But the streaming trend is making it difficult, perhaps impossible, for new Christmas songs by contemporary artists to make the charts, since they have to compete not only with each other, but also the likes of many singers from decades earlier, including Mariah Carey, whose 28-year-old song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, Ron's favorite Christmas tune, is currently battling Taylor Swift's latest release for the top spot on Billboard's Hot 100 singles chart. With this in mind, my goal this week was to find a new Christmas song that I had not heard before. Well, this coming Friday, my wife and I are going to a reasonably priced concert at the Chandler in Arizona, Chandler Center for the Arts, titled The Doo-Wop Project. Now, this is a vocal quintet with extensive and impressive Broadway singing experience that includes, just to name a few, Motown the Musical, Jersey Boys, the Carole King Musical, and Smokey Joe's Cafe. As you can surmise by their name, they focus on the songs of the groups of the 1950s, as well as giving tracks from other decades this style of vocal harmony treatment. As some of you know, this is the genre of music that is the majority of my music collection, and where in past years I had the opportunity to meet many of the original performers at the small venue concerts I used to help produce when living in Southern California. Sadly, almost all these singers have passed away. So it is heartwarming for me to see modern day singers with very impressive credentials continuing this style. So today's clip is their original song, Doo-Wop Christmas, and I've also included the link to their website, which contains their tour date schedules. They will be all around the US and Canada.
Did it
Oh,
again.
that's great.
That's going to be a great concert.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll give you a report next week.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Well, thanks, everyone. An hour has gone by. We've had a great meeting. We will be starting the Q&A in just a second. If you have to leave, don't forget our premiere service will be starting at hour. I put the link in the chat. We'll be talking about Night Night in Winstall, Google Arts and Culture, and shopping with Miss A. So we'll be doing all that at hour. Don't forget our show this coming Thursday. We'll be at Tech for Senior Live. The usual gang will be there, and we'll be having a good chat about all the news of the week, of which there is a lot of news. I put the link to the some of the AI programs for drawing in the chat. Give it a try. The one from Dream AI is free. The other one is free for a week, and then it's a paid. I think it's $2 a month or something. So lots and listen to the news lately, because there's a lot on the news about AI driven pictures. Carl, go ahead.
Hi, Ron. This is for Ray Baxter. Good information on the eBay. And I just wanted to add, my girlfriend had a very large collection of Department 56, and she was a top eBay seller. And one of the things we found, some of these villages that are in there, they're collectibles, you know, like from the 50s and 40s, and they're all miniature villages, but they're a classic brand. And so when I would take pictures of the items before we posted them and before she sold them, and what happened, I would say 1 out of 10 times, maybe a little bit more, 1 out of 12 or something, somebody would say it was broken. Well, as you mentioned, eBay protects the buyer. So we would get it back, and wouldn't you know, unscrupulous people everywhere, they would send back the broken one that they had to keep the one that she had, which was perfect. And there's nothing you could do about it. And I even contacted their department of service, because she was the #1 seller, and the pressure was on her. If you have any black marks against you, then you're no longer a #1 seller, which is an attraction to, you know, people buying from you, because they expect, you know, you're honest with what you're selling. So she would just eat the cost. So I don't know what the solution is. I suggested to them that there would be an independent party that would take pictures of it, you know, and confirm and certify that it was intact. And they said, no, that there's nothing such as that. And the ones we'd get back, they'd be repaired, conspicuously repaired, or something conspicuously missing, which I said, I have the original photos. That doesn't mean anything. Those photos could have been taken who knows when, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll just say that in the eBay protection area, it's much more favorable to the buyer than it is to the seller.
The other thing that we talked about this on our last Thursday show, Carl, we had there was it was an Amazon story where someone ordered a very expensive video card from Amazon. It was from Amazon. They actually was sold by Amazon, involving probably $1,500 video card. When they got the video card, of course, was a fraud. It was you could see it wasn't the card they had ordered. It was a poorly painted. It was a poor imitation of the card, and it wasn't the card at all. So they decided to return it to Amazon. They just put it in a box, and they returned it. And on these very expensive items like this, Amazon actually looked at the card and said it was a fake card, and they refused to give them their money back. And of course, they argued that, hey, just a minute now, you sold me and sent me the fake card. But you can see where this would be going, Carl, is if you were an unscrupulous purchaser, you could order a legit card and then send a fake one back and keep the $1,500, right, and resell it. You can see where this is going, and why it would be, you know, I guess this would be a big problem. So one of the things that they suggested is if you are going to send something back, an expensive, is take pictures of it and document it and contact customer support before you send it back, particularly if it's a really expensive item like a video card. George,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the things they pointed out in that video was, or that response was that you should videotape the unboxing.
Ah, good point. Yes. Yeah.
So
that's a
that
good point.
so that it's clear that when you receive this package,
Yes.
you open it up and you're unboxing it, and then you can show the fake device.
Right.
I wanted to touch on the problems of a computer that's corrupted and the privacy issue of taking it to a store. I mean, Michael Swift in the chat said best to remove the drive, and I agree with that if you've got the skills to do that. On a laptop, that can be pretty difficult. Sometimes they're buried underneath keyboards and stuff like that. So a couple of things. You might have a computer club. Michael helps at our computer club. Every week we've got 12 people come in with their problems, and we work one-on-one through those. And in that case, you're sitting beside the person who's working on your computer, and that's a real advantage, right? And a little bit of forethought is really useful. If you make a little thumb drive or buy a thumb drive that has a recovery capability, very often, if the thumb drive won't boot, probably the computer is pretty bad. And I mean, this is for laptops, not necessary to use this on a tower, although it can be used on a tower. But on a laptop, if the thumb drive won't boot, chances are you aren't going to be able to get the hard drive out. But it's just, a few thoughts. But you can learn all of this stuff at computer clubs too, how to protect yourself. And that's a resource for those that aren't handy with screwdrivers themselves.
Thanks, George. Louis Rossmann talked about that in his video, and one of the problems with taking your hard drive out and taking your computer in, it really depends on what the problem is. If it's a power supply, well, fair enough. You just put a new power supply in and see if it works. The problem, though, is most people taking their computers in take it in because of maybe it's running slow. They're worried about a virus. There are all sorts of issues where the technician has to have access to the hard drive, right? And so if you take that hard drive out, you're not going to get help for what you want. And that is a really, really big problem. And Louis Rossmann, who alluded to that, also ran into problems where people did do that. In fact, they came in and they wanted to know, they talked about privacy and don't look at my drive and all that sort of stuff. And he said, whoa, I can't, there's no way with all my technicians that we can guarantee that no one's going to look at that stuff. So I'm going to take your hard drive out and give it to you right now while you're looking at it. You take it home with you. And when you come back, I'll put it back in. Your computer will be fixed. But what the problem is that when that happened and they brought their hard drive back, it didn't fix the problem because the problem was on the hard drive, right?
Yeah,
and then they wanted 50% off or 70% off because they had just driven 2 hours to get to the repair shop. And so it wasn't fixed. And so it becomes and that's what he says, like a creep is a creep, and you can't prevent that no matter how many policies you have. So it is.
But I think personally that if you're taking your computer in, very often, even though you're saying, recover the data, very often they will reinstall Windows anyway. So I would say, if you're taking your computer in, count on it being a Windows fresh install, or ask them to do a fresh install. And that's one reason to make sure you've got backups so that when you bring that computer home, you can put your own data back in. But I mean, people are too afraid of reinstalling Windows, in my view.
Well, also, I think one of the things that you have to, I don't think people think about what the data is on their computer. When your computer stops working, you're upset, you're frightened, it's often has very valuable stuff on it. You want to get it repaired quickly. So your first thing is to get it to the shop, get it in, get it fixed. But what you're not thinking about, one of the things that you have to add into that is, hold on, maybe this data won't be secure when I take it in there. And is there anything on anything on there that I need to think about? And that's the thing, that's the whole point of that I made the video for is I want people to think about that, right? Because you can get yourself into some very big problems, right?
Yeah. I'm
We're
just suggesting.
assuming that every single repair shop you take it into, you have to be careful, and they're a crook. There are certain people in life you have to trust: your doctor, your attorney, and in this case, the person who's going to repair your computer. If you don't trust them, don't take it there in the first place.
But don't take your data there. Don't take your data there.
Well, if the problem is in the data, you can't fix it unless you have access to the data. Okay. So here it's a matter of trust. And if you don't have the trust, don't take it into that repair shop. Plain and simple.
Now, Louis Rossman in the video, and I'll put the link in the, is that he gives a couple of examples of which most people would trust Apple. You know, they take it to the Apple repair shop. Most people are going to trust Apple, but there were two very big celebrated cases last year where the videos got leaked from an Apple repair, and it was a person working, a technician at Apple. So, you know, it's not, you know, who do you trust? Steve, go ahead.
You know, usually it's a better idea not to have your data and your bootable system on the same drive. Just have them, just the operating system on one drive. And then you take out your data drive and then you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, or as George says, you just clone the whole thing and put Windows 10 fresh on it, and then you can put it back again when he's finished.
When I made this video, Steve, I thought about you, and I thought about Steve's going to ask, he's going to talk all about that, and he's going to suggest cloning folders and cloning this, not cloning, but encrypting this and encrypting that. And I thought there is a whole other video that you could make on that. The problem is I think we're talking about people who have very little knowledge about computers. So we're not talking about our group here who are techies. We're talking about people who just have no idea what they're dealing with, and I think that that's really the group of people that
the tech people. A lot of the tech people don't know what the heck they're doing either. I've taken mine to a computer repair place once. I knew more about it than they did. They screwed it up so badly. It took me another 2 weeks to fix the mess that they made.
Right. And as Louis Rossman said in his video, again, if you encrypt the hard drive, it's the same as taking it out. So when you come into the computer repair store, if you don't give them the password to unencrypt it, then they can't fix the problem in most cases. So therein lies the difficulty. Sok, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon all. I was looking at a friend's computer just today, and she has something strange in her Windows calendar where all the dates are populated with something Russian in text. Is that a setting that we're missing, or is it infected with something?
Does she have the wrong language setting in Windows?
The rest of Windows is all fine, and I'm not too sure because Christmas and New Year's both showed up in English. But if there's a setting to change the calendar language, I guess I'm not sure where that's at, if the rest of it's okay in Windows. But they were almost all the same text or two different text messages or appointments. I can't read Russian, so I don't know what it says, but right. 25 out of 30 in the month were all identical, and the other 5 were identical to themselves.
Was this in a calendar? Was this sorry, I'll get just a minute. Was this in a calendar? Is this a calendar issue?
It's the Windows calendar.
The Windows
you have on your start menu. It's not the one that's over in the taskbar notification area.
Okay.
It's the calendar app in Windows.
Yeah, okay.
Which
you can copy the information in the calendar and put it into a search and have it translated to English. That might give you some information as to what is this, where is this coming from.
All right.
Be highly
But she-
suspicious. I'd be
Yeah.
highly suspicious.
She says it does show up on another computer, but she may be signing in to her Outlook or Hotmail account, whatever it is, and then it's going back and forth between the two. I'm not sure. I couldn't open up the date and see any more of the detail of what was in it. I mean, just the one line of information.
Did you run in all the virus scans you ran? Nothing picked up, nothing came up of anything?
As much as I could. When I was at the center today where I was working on that, they didn't have internet, so I couldn't get the most current version. I could only use what was resident on the computer.
And nothing came up, eh?
Best thing to do on that is run a boot scan, which is before everything starts. That way you get deeper into it, but it's also going to take time. That kind of a scan doesn't take 5 minutes.
Let us know how it turns out.
Well-
This doesn't sound good, though. I'm glad I don't have Russian on my computer.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We did uninstall the calendar app from Windows, which we didn't see any more messages. I don't know if you can just go back and reinstall the app and it would be okay, or whether it's going to remember some setting on the reinstall and give it to you again.
I don't
It
know.
sounds to me like a particular calendar. If I don't use that calendar, I use the Google one, but the Google Calendar can be a combination of several calendars, and there may be one that the setting for it is in Russian, and that's what I would look for,
Okay,
is
good one.
what the setting is for each calendar, and discover if it's just one of them is causing that.
Okay, thanks. Neil, go ahead.
Okay, real quick statement. If I take my computer in to be repaired, I am concerned with all of those nude photos I have of me there. I don't think they're going to use that.
Yeah.
But I do have a concern, and I hadn't thought about it. If the repairman would have access to all of my passwords that are stored on my browser.
They would need to log in. They would need to log into your Google account. So they'd need to actually log into to look at your passwords. They would have to, if you weren't logged into your Google account, right? I guess the issue would be if your computer locked up and you couldn't get, I'm not sure. I mean, you would have to
Browsers do store passwords.
Yeah, I don't use Google.
right.
I use Firefox and one or two others from time to time, but they do have my password saved in the browser. All you got to do is just open it.
Right.
Do you automatically sign out of your browser when you close it? Or does it retain the password to automatically sign back in? That's the question.
Right. Right.
And if you set it up so it automatically logs out when you close the browser, then if you wind up with it in the shop, they'd have to sign in to
Right.
get to your
Right.
your passwords.
Oh, I've never automatically signed out. All I got to do is click on the icon and the browser comes up.
Right. So your setting has to be changed so that it automatically signs you out when you close your browser. And that's under your security settings.
Yeah,
Couldn't
there's
you-
another
couldn't you just-
option too. I can
couldn't you-
password.
I can tell you it's going to be a pain in the butt because each time you'll have to sign in. And if your computer never ever goes in for service, you would have been putting way too much time for sign in for something that might occur. Again, you have to weigh those.
Anyway, thanks.
Okay. Drew, go ahead.
Yep. And now for people who have new computers or buy extended warranties, there's a whole new model for your data and whether or not you should back it up or keep it on your computer or not. I have a computer warrantied under two different places, one directly with Microsoft and one with Costco. And the extended warranty policies both basically stipulate, and I've used them, you take your laptop and you ship it back to them, and they ship you a refurbed laptop in exchange. You never see the laptop that you bought ever again. And just assume that you should just wipe your data off the hard drive completely and be receiving a free clean install of Windows when you get your new laptop back. So that's the way things are working more and more today.
Right. Good point. Good point. Steve, we have to go. Do you have one real quick question or answer or something?
No, it's a result. You remember the warehouse deals that you told me about? Well, I tried that.
Yeah. Did you buy something from the warehouse?
Yeah, I did. The main boot drive that I use, the SSD, they had that warehouse deal.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, it says used. I mean, who wants a used?
No, there is no used.
SSD? Yeah, exactly. That's what I found. And
Was it brand new? Was it brand new?
It was, because I tested it out with hard disk Sentinel, and it said it had only been spin time was only 1 hour, and that was because I had it plugged in for that 1 hour. And not only that, I even got the Prime delivery on it. And
I know, it's great. Yeah,
Prime Amazon account.
Yeah, it works great. Yeah, the warehouse deals are great. There is no used thing. There's no such thing as used.
It just had a dent in the box it came in. That's it.
That's right. It's just a packing issue usually. Good one, Steve. Good one, Steve.
That was great.
Yeah. Save lots of money on that. The warehouse deals. That's pretty much all I buy on Amazon is the warehouse deals. All right, listen, we got to go. It's 20 minutes after. I want to give some people a rest. Don't forget our premiere. I put the link in the show note or in the chat for the premiere version. Don't forget, the gang will be on Thursday morning. Come and listen to us, go over the news of the week. Otherwise, we'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.